This building, it holds everything. The wins, the failures, the reinvention. And we've always said, some things you just have to keep, and some things you have to rip and replace. The first thing that we tried to build is version 1 of this company. We had an opportunity to join up with an older gentleman who had all the sales in the world for this new phase of this web development stuff that was coming into play. He needed technical people to come in. We joined forces with him, and that relationship lasted for maybe 6-8 months. Terrible experience, a terrible partner. That was our first failed entrepreneurial experience. We were all sharing a single car. We couldn't afford to insure all the rest of our cars. We were all living in a single house together. 2 interested realtors came together who had a little bit of money, really liked what we were doing, really liked the group and the dynamic that we had. They asked if we wanted to try to keep the party together and keep it going. We immediately jumped on that opportunity. And they give us about 4 months of working capital to get started again. Proud to say we never borrowed a cent after that. Those realtors who were partners for a very long time really set the stage for us to be successful in this endeavor. The business started in 1998, just before the big dot-com bust that happened in 2000. It was the transition period of traditional marketing into digital marketing. Things like brand development, logo design, business card design, annual reports. Think of all the developing a newspaper ad. We even went so far as to design a NASCAR wrap for one of the companies that we were working for. We were doing everything from web development to flash animation. And yeah, we did a lot of brand development for companies because they didn't have anything. But we were doing everything in our power to be recognized in the community, attaching our name to every award that we could, trying to get into the newspaper, trying to be picked up by the local TV broadcasting. We learned many years after, and I think we're still learning now, that we were at the very beginning of a long, long journey. We end up going down the path of building our own proprietary e-commerce system, and we called it Storebox. We didn't understand what we had, and we didn't understand how to market it. We didn't understand how to raise capital to make it known. We didn't understand any of that, but I can tell you with certainty we had one of the best platforms. And the reason being, most people were building platforms where they were building dynamic websites. Google couldn't index the pages. It didn't have the ability to index anything that was dynamic. And so we got around that with essentially what was a publishing system. We probably had 50 clients or so on Storebox, and we probably had 50 different versions of Storebox because we were trying to hit the mark with our customer base, and we were customizing our own platform to fit that need. Like Donkey Kong, there's many layers to this story, and there's many barrels that were thrown at us. 2000, I remember running on a treadmill with one of my partners, watching the stock market literally plummet before our eyes. And then the big one, the biggest one, was when we rolled into 2008 with the financial crisis. That was the hardest one. We had grown to a team of 40 people at that point in time. Year end is our October 31st, and literally November rolled in. 2 clients we just signed pulled the contracts, and the rug had been pulled out from underneath of us on 2 of the biggest deals that we'd ever signed. We had a big war chest of cash. We were lucky. But as we saw the writing on the wall that it wasn't a quick turnaround, we had to start doing rounds of layoffs. It's still tough, even thinking about it to this day, because there were some really good guys there and girls that we had to get rid of. We had 3 rounds of layoffs. The first one was pretty easy. You have your A, B, and C's. C's go, B's start to hit the heartstrings. We got to a board meeting that we had to have because we had to do one more round of layoffs. I was watching cash flow very closely. We had a whiteboard. We had everybody's name, including our own, on that board, and deciding who stayed, who had to go, who was losing a management position. And we had to do that last round of layoffs, and that one stung. There was tears, for sure, on many fronts. It was tough. But we came out the other side having an opportunity to really redo everything, from our hiring processes to what we did, to how we measured our performance, to how we scaled. It was probably the best thing that happened to us because we were able to reinvent ourselves. And we really started to focus on what it is that we were bringing to the table, what we were doing for our clients and what we were doing for our staff. And we measured both of those very equally. And the company literally exploded from there once the economy started to get better. We invented something we called managed services. Sean McCabe, who's our CTO now. Back then, he was a brand new recruit. He was one of the guys working in this particular division alongside my production manager at the time. And he was instrumental in helping us through those tough times. The open source side of it was introduced by Sean McCabe shortly thereafter because we realized we needed a solution for the types of customers we were bringing on in the commerce space. I immediately fell in love with the concept of open source. I just saw the ability getting a customer 50 to 80, maybe even 90% of the way there, and it really helped escalate our company to bigger and bigger growth. A tremendous amount of growth from 2010 to 2019. I think we were averaging 23% growth year over year. And then COVID. Companies forever changed, but we never skipped a beat. We literally were able to move all the staff that we had our office and have them at home working the next day in a 24-hour period. We still get little glimpses of it here and there in terms of the summits and stuff that we run, but it's never going to go back to what it was, which is kind of sad. We knew that composability was coming down the pipe for all industries, including the ERP space, having worked with Gartner again. And we began the prowl for the ERP that was kind of moving in this direction. My partnership manager, Kyle, he came over to me and told me that he had found this guy named Josh Fisher. Josh had the exact same vision as we did for the future of composability, this idea of bringing all these different functions. And he recognized the fact that these guys were really venturing out and looking to build partnership ecosystems, technology stacks that worked for B2B. And he realized your front end had to be decoupled in order to be able to make that happen. So we instantly had so much to talk about, and his vision was very much in line with ours. That's how Acumatica became an instrumental ERP in our tech stack that we love to work with. Cool. You had to order something hard. Try that Scenic Road. Printed, old school. Thank you. It's ready. When you hear that an ERP company or a Shopify or a BigCommerce, that they have these integrations, you have to know and understand that they're integrations on a certain set of data points. So the easy ones would be things like a product SKU, product information, maybe a description, maybe even inventory and those types of things. They're really common things between the e-commerce platform and Acumatica that make logical sense to share. So you get down this path as a manufacturer, it says integration, I'm ready to go. Well, what happens when you get to 80% of the way through the project, you actually find out that you've built this really custom PO workflow in your ERP system, and you are now expecting that to show up in Shopify. And it just doesn't, because A, Shopify was never built with that in mind, that custom workflow that you're able to do and build in that ERP system. So you have a problem. That's where most manufacturers get caught up. These are the unique business workflows they have with their customers or internally to be able to operate their business, but they can't share that digitally because Shopify, BigCommerce, whatever platform you're using, that front end system that you're using to display to the world doesn't know how to handle that data. It's never been designed to handle that data. By separating the front end into its own thing, I can take the product information from Shopify and I can take this custom workflow or whatever I need and assemble that into the front end interface. So I can leverage all the great things that Shopify does as an e-commerce experience or BigCommerce does as an e-commerce experience and all the great things that the ERP platform does, and I can marry those things together. Manufacturers are facing some incredible challenges right now. They're trying to deliver value far beyond their product. Customers are demanding these Amazon-like experiences, expecting things like sustainability and sourcing of their products, high levels of support and personalization, and they're just expecting a lot more value. We're trying to give them all the tools that they need and give them the understanding that they need in terms of what needs to be changed and in what order and what time period. We absolutely believe that we're not trying to rip and replace everything out of their business, that there's easy incremental ways of easing their way into this. The reality is that they're trying to make sense of all the different solutions out there, and it's oftentimes too late that they've gone down the wrong path. Buyers, at the end of the day, they want a partner, and you're trying to figure out a way in which you can digitize that experience. A, to scale it, but B, because that's what they expect. Buyers nowadays have the capability of doing all their own research. They have the capability and expect all the information that they need to have to make a decision should be online without talking to anybody anymore. And manufacturing wasn't built that way. Manufacturing was really built around that relationship. So that's the challenges that they're up against. So this digitization process can't just be about the transactions. It can't just be about providing a way to hit the buy now button. It really has to be about digitizing trust. How do you bring a digital spin on everything that you've worked hard for to ensure that you can maintain those relationships. Tech shouldn't get in the way of that. It should build on that. It should strengthen those relationships. It should amplify them. It should honor them. When a manufacturer is going down that path, we want to take all those decades of experiences and relationships and we want to transfer that into a digital form that builds on what they have worked so hard for. Tech shouldn't dictate how you do your business. They have to understand that, and they have to make sure that they select the right partner that understands that. It'd be like going into an art studio that's pre-set up for you. You have your easel set up, you have your subject matter, it's perfectly lit, your paints are laid out before you, you have all your color selections. Let's go a step further. Let's go with paint by numbers. And now it's just a matter, there is some work for them to do, absolutely, there always is. We've got to apply their business logic in there, but everything's all laid out for them to be successful. And we can go at this as fast as they want to move. A lot of the work has been done. So Acro is trying to speed up that time to market, make it super simple, and remove all the complexities and really reduce the cost down for them to get into this part of their business and to really embrace digital means of interacting with their customers. We've got a number of core values, but one of the big ones was empowerment. We don't want people that are sitting back in their role and being comfortable. I get the greatest amount of joy in terms of seeing people succeed, seeing people grow in their careers, people taking what they've learned in even our own place of business and applying that in something even bigger and better outside of Acro. Responsibility, that's another one of our core values. It's not just about getting our customers what they want, it's about giving them the experience they want as well. We learned a hard lesson back in the day. The client was complaining about the experience that they were getting. At the end of that project, he said, we're canceling, we're not doing anything more with you. And we're like, what? What do you mean? You got what you wanted? It's like, we didn't enjoy the experience. It was terrible. It's quite a few years older than us, and that was a huge valuable lesson that we learned. You know, that became part of our core values, is understanding that experience was just as important as the product that they were getting. We love and believe that the most passionate people are the ones that are competing in everything that they do. Everything that you're doing in your place of business and in your role, there's an element of competition of wanting to be better than somebody else or to better what you did the last time around. We used to have a lot of people in-house. We're combining all of our offices into one. We just don't need the space anymore. Doing a bunch of rental work, so this place is an absolute disaster right now, but we're making it work. And we got a big summit coming up, and we're just gonna throw them all in this one little space here for a couple of days and hammer out a great summit. Project teams down here, we had project teams up top. We actually expanded the whole top floor into a mezzanine to add a bunch of developers in here, plugged people in here. We almost left this place behind. We didn't. And I'm glad we didn't. The handprint, it stuck on there good. Just like the people. Just like the values. But everything else, we're rebuilding. And I can tell you right now, we're just getting started. Damn, that was tough. Oh, I think I was hitting a stud.
That makes sense. You were probably.
I was hitting square on that stud. It doesn't identify us as a company, as a brand anymore, but it certainly has a tremendous amount of meaning of our founder story that is crucial, I think, for people to understand how far we've come. It's doweled into the wall, never to be removed. The day it gets removed, it will have to be destroyed, which will be an unfortunate day. But it's still here preserved in our office until we decide to do so.